Hello and welcome back. This is installment number 2 of the Flatfooting and Clogging workshop. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Please do shoot me any questions that you might have in the Q&A sessions, or if we have something that we don't get to in those, feel free to email me, mattolwell@gmail.com. Today we're going to expand a little bit and build on what we did yesterday, and we're going to start looking at a step called the walking step, or sometimes it's called the Tennessee walking step. Lots of flatfooters and cloggers all over the place, not just in the United States, but people abroad who do Appalachian clogging do some version of this step. A lot of folks credit it to the fiddle puppets and the greengrass cloggers doing sort of adaptations of steps that they learned from a guy named Robert Dotson, a flatfooter from Sugar Grove, North Carolina. But there are earlier versions of this step that you can see in footage. There's a group of the Blue Ridge Mountain Dancers at the Newport Folk Festival where they do a version of this step. So, very useful for improvisation or choreography or accompanying a fiddle tune as a solo dancer, but also dancing in a group. So, basically there are many parts to this step, but today we're just going to focus on the first sort of set of movements, which is like the foundation. And you can do lots of other things with this and get fancy, but all of that is built on this one sort of simple series of motions. So we're just going to start out with that foundational step first today. And basically all you need to do is start stepping back and forth, one foot and then the other. And then every time you step, you're going to pull back the foot that you just stepped on. So I'm going to step on my right, and then I'm going to pull it back. And then I'm going to step on my left, and I'm going to pull it back. The pulling it back is almost like a little scoot. A lot of times folks call it a chug, or a slide, or some people call it a drag. But basically it's just a little pull back along the floor, sliding your foot. In order to do that, you do have to step on kind of a bent knee, so that you can straighten your knee for the slide back. So this is like bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Now, just like we said yesterday, start slow, start gentle. Think about all of those technique pointers of keeping your knees and your ankles nice and relaxed and loose, keeping your back and your spine and your neck nice and loose, making sure that you're not holding tension anywhere while you dance. Basically, as you do this, you're going to think about really lifting the knee up in front, so that if somebody snapped a photo and took a still frame, you would really see this kind of right angle where the knee is coming straight out and the foot is hanging straight down. Make sure that you're not tucking your foot up underneath you. Again, if there was a still frame, you would want to see this. Also try to make sure that you're not pointing the foot. The foot should be either slightly flexed or a little bit relaxed, but somewhere kind of right in that middle ground. So step, chug, step, chug, step, chug, step, chug. Basically 2 sounds, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like so. Now probably, if you're like me, what will happen as you learn this step is that at first, it's just a slide back, and your foot is literally sliding along the floor. But as you get a little more comfortable, and you really figure out how to release and relax your ankle, that slide will actually turn into a little bit of a snap, where you leave the ground just for a moment, and then land with your weight on the ball of your foot. So it'll start out like this, and then gradually as you get more comfortable, you will get a clean second sound. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's the foundation of the walking step. Or again, some folks call it the Tennessee walking step, but plenty of dancers I know in Western North Carolina who say, we do it here and it's a North Carolina step. So, you know, everybody wants to claim stuff for their own. But that's going to be the foundation, and in the next video we're going to talk about how to start to add other sounds to that pattern. But again, you want to think about just that alternating back and forth, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, keeping the knees and ankles very relaxed, keeping your feet somewhere in parallel-ish. Probably you don't want to be too turned out. Your natural stance may be totally parallel, or it might be slightly turned out, but somewhere in there. And then just figuring out how to get a nice clean sound with that. And then, as you get more comfortable and you're doing this to some music, you can start to experiment like we did yesterday with changing it up a little bit, putting in some pauses, putting in a step without the chug, doing some syncopated sounds. So let's throw some music on and see what that sounds like. And we're going to go ahead and dance to the same tune that we did yesterday. So here we go. So first just find that pulse and feel where that step is going to sit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 5, 6, ready, here we go. So you can see how we would start to play with that and add some other sounds. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.